All right, so we decided actually just last week that we were going to do our annual trip to Kings Island. It's a trip we usually do in August, usually right before school starts. But last week we were looking at the calendar, and Kings Island had on their website that yesterday was Friday that they were going to be open, but I just got an email today because I'm on their email list, and they've actually changed their calendar for August. And so I wanted to do this video because if you plan to go to Kings Island in August, I do suggest that you go on a Friday. And they've actually extended their hours and are open until 10. Actually, we went a little too early, but we still had a great time. We went, they opened at 11, they closed at 7. So we had to make a few adjustments with our normal schedule of when they used to open at 10 and close at 10. So check their calendar, they have their hours. If you plan to go in August, you'll get more time. But I know a lot of people have had concerns and wondered if they should go or not. And it's still going to be your own personal decision. But these are some tips that I have for you. The first one is actually already gone, but one of the things that Matt does every year is there's a certain time of year that the Kentucky Blood Center will give a free ticket to Kings Island if you donate blood. And so he found that weekend or those few days that they were giving out the free tickets. I want to say it was about 4 or 6 weeks ago that he went, he gave blood, and he got a free ticket, which tickets right now, you want to buy them online. They are about $45. So he got a $45 ticket for free for giving blood, which was a great thing to do anyway. And he would have gone, he'll go several more times throughout the year. But knowing that he can get that free ticket, he typically looks for that weekend and goes that weekend. And a lot of times the Kentucky Blood Center in the past has done other really cool things like go to Rupp Arena, and he and Courtney will go and make that a trip that they get to shoot basketball on the court at Rupp Arena, which is really cool. So that's our first thing, and that is how we first saved on our trip, was that he got a free ticket. Typically, too, we look for coupons and discounts, and there really aren't any this year. A lot of times you can find some at Kroger, and you can still buy a ticket at Kroger and get points, which is a really great thing. But McDonald's usually has a discount, but they're not doing that this year. I know here in Lexington, a lot of the cups will still say that you can get a discount, but I called beforehand because we had one of those cups that said to save $30. And I was told by Kings Island that they're not actually doing that. They want people to purchase their tickets online. And that is because every time you purchase a single day ticket, you're purchasing it for the day that you want to go. And that helps them to limit the crowd and know how many people are planning to come. And I'm assuming they probably limit how many tickets that they're selling each day. So we did buy our tickets online. We went on and bought our parking online, which saves you $3. And we bought one souvenir drink cup. And we actually, Matt and Courtney pretty much shared that the majority of the day. And then Caroline and I had a water bottle that we took in. And occasionally we would fill up the other bottle with water, but they do also give free water. So if you go to any station that sells drinks, you can ask for free water and they'll give you a small free ice water. So do take advantage of that as well, especially if it's hot, which it was on Friday. At the beginning of the day, we had a lot of sunshine. And so we also made sure to take our sunscreen and our hats. We had a great clear backpack that we were able to take things in. And they laughed at me that I also took my fanny pack, which works really well, especially on certain rides that you're not allowed to take a bag on. For example, like Banshee, you can't take a backpack string bag on it. You would have to pay for a locker. And so we had Caroline and Matt hold our bag while we went on that ride. But I still had my fanny pack to put our phones in. So on that same note, Caroline's not tall enough to ride all the rides. And so they have a great program called Parent Swap, and they have this at several parks. I know Disney has, I don't know if they call it Rider Switch, they call it different things at different parks. But at Kings Island, they call it Parent Swap. And so when you go with your younger child to get their wristband and for them to get measured for how tall they are, you want to ask them for a parent swap sheet. And they give you that sheet. And then what happens is Matt and Courtney will typically go and stand in line for the ride. And then Caroline and I will go to the exit. Or if we know that it's going to be a long enough wait, for example, Orion, the new ride, it had a 40-minute wait. So Caroline and I knew that there was going to be a wait for it by looking at the app. And so we could go to one of the smaller rides, like the Scrambler or the Octopus that she was tall enough to ride. And we were able to ride it in like 20 minutes and then come back to the exit. And when Matt and Courtney got on the ride, they told the people that I was standing over there. They were going to do a parent swap. And so then after Matt got off the ride, Courtney would get off the ride. Usually they wait like one train, and then we get to ride on the next train. And so I don't have to go and stand all the way back in line again. So big benefit. If you have 2 kids, do that. I keep telling Courtney she needs to thank her sister that she gets to ride the ride double time. But Caroline is getting taller and she is riding more rides. She actually rode the Beast for the first time this year. So Courtney did not get to ride that twice. She only got to ride it once, but we all had fun riding it together. But that is Parent Swap. Another thing to expect this year at Kings Island when you do go into the entrance, in addition to a bag check and your ticket, showing your ticket, you're also going to have a temperature check. They're going to ask you the common questions of if you're feeling well and if you've been traveling or if you've been around anybody that's been sick. So expect that. And then they do have at each ride, they have markers of 6 feet apart, and that really helped to keep people distanced. And most rides, they have the lines that wrap around, and it's like every other line so that you really get to keep that distance. There were a few that didn't do that you were going every line. And so for us, we would just kind of hold back until people went further around. And so we were maybe more like 12 feet apart at some points or even more than that. But it did make it feel like the lines went faster just by having that extra distance. And honestly, when I used to, just even in years past, I would keep my distance and wait for people to move up. And Matt would always be like, why aren't you going? They're going. And I'm like, it just makes it feel faster if they go a little bit further and then I get to walk a little bit further. Same thing. So, I don't know. Personally, I like the whole social distancing, especially at amusement parks, and I would love to keep those signs for us to have a distance even after all this goes away. Masks, everybody I saw had a mask. Not everybody always had it over their nose, but in lines they typically did. And when you got on a ride, the people working and over the intercoms were telling you to wear your mask even on the ride. So expect to wear it even on the ride. If it comes down in the middle of the ride, it's not a big deal. Courtney did see one fly off somebody, but the people working there again were great. As soon as that person came off the ride, they handed her I don't know if you call it a temporary mask or a disposable mask, but they gave her a mask so that she would have it again. But I mean, people, if they did have it down, they were at a table eating or drinking, or they were socially distanced and just off to the side by themselves. And so everybody really did a good job of respecting that. And, kids didn't seem to have an issue with having their masks on. Some of the waits were a little bit longer because there was extra cleaning of the carts or of the ride. Nobody got upset about that. It was expected. It was appreciated. And so it wasn't after every single ride or every single run of a cart that they cleaned, but they do have a procedure. And something we always do, and part of what's in our bag is our hand sanitizer. And they did have several extra hand sanitizers around the park, but we always just take one in our bag, pull it out after every single ride, and wipe our hands off. Let's see, is there anything else? The app, you definitely want to download the app. When I ordered the tickets, it told me the tickets were going to be on the app for parking, for our drink cup, and as we went in, and we did leave at lunch. We went out of the park and they printed out a new ticket for us in order to get back in. But since we didn't go in until 11 when they opened, we left at about 2 and had a later lunch and had our lunch in our lunchbox packed for us and had it in the car. It saves money. It gives us the time to just get away, get in the air-conditioned car, and just regroup for the next part of the day. And so highly recommend just taking that break. I know it's a little extra walking, but for us, it just helped us to keep going for the rest of the day. So the app also, like I said, tells you the wait lines. And if you need the map, it's there with a map to show you how to get from ride to ride. So that was our experience with Kings Island. Definitely recommend it. It was a great day to be outside. We had great weather and just great family fun, and felt very safe. And again, very clean. Even on one ride, there was a worker cleaning all the railing from when we walked up. It was actually Adventure Express. And so from the time that we walked from the Adventure Express all the way up to the line, he was cleaning the railings there. So not over extreme, but they definitely were cleaning, taking the appropriate precautions that they could for all that we have going on right now. So those are my tips for saving a little money at Kings Island and what to expect if you go in August. Again, check their calendar because they just updated their hours today. Hope that helps. If you have any questions or if you have any suggestions about what you want me to talk about in the future, let me know. Hope you have a great night, and I'll see you soon.